Hey, I'm Colleen Bain from Enhanced Learning Skills for Kids, and I'm so glad that you came onto this page all about brain skills. I wanted to let you know that the program BrainSkills right now is one of the programs that I use for brain training within my student transformation program, and that's where I work with the kids to get the foundational learning from the brain training in place and then I integrate it back into the classroom. This page is for like the powerhouse moms, the powerhouse parents out there that are going to do this by themselves. And they just want to get the brain training program and they're not really looking for any interaction from me over the course of the program and they're ready to go. So I wanted to make sure that you get the information you need on this page, which you'll see. And I also included as a bonus a free 30-minute consultation with me because it's important that you can understand the program so much, by watching this video and then seeing the demo and then reading everything in print. But I think there's just some things that, that you would want to speak with me about individually. So yes, the burning question that you probably have is, several, like what is this program and what's it all about? And I put all of that on the page below. But what you need to really understand to make it simple in layman's terms is the brain training programs are becoming more mainstream now. So we're starting to hear the terminology brain training, and what that's trying to do is strengthen your child's ability to learn where it relates to the education realm. So there's brain training in all these different kinds of markets, if you will. And what we're speaking about here with your child is for education, for transferring over to life skills, for the ability to excel. So examples, kids that even are gifted, some of the gifted kids may be working too hard for their A's. So if you can go in and you take a look at where they are at the moment with their ability to learn and then give them the edge, then the kids are excelling. The children are able to make A's with ease. So you can check that way. Then on the other side of the spectrum, right, we have the children that are in like a special ed kind of situation where if you take a look at their ability to learn, it could be low across the board, meaning you could have a child that's 10, but that child's ability to learn may be at a 5 or 6 year old level. So the goal of the brain training programs, especially around with brain skills, is strengthening those measures so the child's ability to learn is raised from, in this example, like a 5 or 6 year old level to try and get them as close, if not above, to a 10-year-old level. And now you're working with a child that theoretically has the ability to learn with their peers, 10-year-old to 10-year-old, which means if you can think back of, or just think of your child in their classroom right now, some of the work that they're doing, and think of how fast the teacher may be talking. I'm talking fast here to give you a lot of information in a short period of time. But just picture if your child's in a classroom in 7th grade, and the 7th grade teacher is speaking in terms of a 7th grader. So the vocabulary of what you might call a receptive vocabulary is at a 7th grade level. Everything else is too, as far as the academics may go. But the amount of information coming out verbally, the pace that the teacher is speaking at, the expected attention span, memory, right? Because we're getting so much more volume. Our reading ability, we have so many more words that we should already know, spelling, for being able to pronounce, for decoding and encoding. And if your child doesn't have the ability of the 7th grader or above to keep up, then they start struggling. And the struggling is coming into play because, all of the little categories, whether it's attention, processing, memory, logic, and reasoning, are below where they should be for a 7th grader. The other way you look at it too is if your child is not set up to really excel, like some of our public schools are getting much better at a multisensory approach, meaning that they teach to all the senses, right? Because that's how we learn. But in some cases, there's still a lot of auditory, like how I'm speaking now with you, it's a lot of auditory, it's all verbal. And if you are not able to process well through what comes through the ears, so even though your hearing is fine, you're going to have difficulty. You may take pieces of what I'm saying to you and lose some of it. The other thing is if the memory cup that partners with the auditory processing piece is low, you may understand everything I'm saying to you, but you may not recall it because you don't have enough room to store everything. So there's different ways that you look at your child's ability to learn. So on this page with the do-it-yourselfers, you may not get that involved where you're trying to analyze the data. I mean, that's stuff that I do with the parents where we really take a look at the pre-measures. It tells us a story. We make sense of it. We create plans and visions. So on this page, it's understanding that BrainSkills is there to help your child strengthen that underlying cognitive piece, the ability to learn. And in doing so, you'll see changes with your child's ability to keep up with school, doing better on academics in general, following the teacher, following directions, and you'll gain benefit from that perspective. BrainSkills is also really, really helpful for kids that are struggling with sound to code. There's a great sound analysis piece that is in the brain program, the brain training program that you can see below in the demo. And when you read through the page, you'll see it as well. So that will take your child through a lot of drills in still like a loading methodology takeaway, where the child will be introduced to the sounds in the English language and then have to do it different ways. It's almost like a sound analysis where instead of just a sound to code piece that you're thinking of, perhaps what's the letter C make, the sound analysis within BrainSkills will take it a bit further, and your child has to be able to segment. So if we were to say, what's the word cat, they'd have to give us the sounds in cat, and then in reverse, being able to do the blending. So if your child hears cat, or hears the individual sounds in cat, then they have to be able to blend to identify what word it is. And then obviously the one-to-one, is there before all the analysis is going on. So that's very, very helpful for if your child is struggling in spelling or in reading. And it's also very good for the game if you have, visual memory, because you're playing on the computer in a sense. It's very good for visual processing, visual memory. But you also have the opportunity around some of the basic comprehension pieces. There's an exercise that explains comprehension, and it has the ability to speak to your child. So if your child's not reading yet, you can just click a button and it will read for your child. So you can take a look at the demo below. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to reach to me, but I think you have what you need to get going, especially if you're the do-it-yourselfer and you're just going to plunge into this. The typical protocol is explained on the page below, and if you want to work for the intense program, you're going to be looking at 60 hours of time on task. That's how I explain it to parents. It's a 12-week program. Typically, you try to get 5 hours a week out of the program, and from there, you can work an hour a day, and the protocol can be split up to 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night. But you can watch the other video, too, that's coming up next that goes a little bit more into the protocol. Thanks for watching, and I do hope that you'll pick up a copy of the BrainSkills today to help your child. Thanks.